The American Gilded Age in the late 19th century was a time of explosive growth and incredible wealth. Railroads were crossing the continent, new cities were rising, and fortunes were being made overnight. It was an age of ambition, speculation, and a frantic, burning desire to get rich quick. This feverish atmosphere set the stage for one of the most audacious hoaxes in history. Our story begins in 1872 in the booming city of San Francisco. Two rough-around-the-edges prospectors, Philip Arnold and his cousin John Slack, arrived in town. They walked into the Bank of California with a story and a heavy bag. Inside the bag were uncut diamonds, rubies, and sapphires. They claimed to have discovered a secret, immensely rich diamond field somewhere in the American West. They refused to reveal the location, fearing a rush of prospectors would steal their claim. The bank's founder, William Ralston, a powerful and ambitious financier, was intrigued but cautious. He had the gems examined by experts. They confirmed they were real, but of low quality. Arnold and Slack explained that these were just samples from the surface. The real treasure lay deeper. To prove their claim, they agreed to take a mining expert to the secret location. They took the expert on a long, twisting journey by train and horseback, blindfolding him for the final leg. At the remote location, the expert dug into the earth and found diamonds and other gems scattered everywhere. He returned to San Francisco and declared the field to be authentic and fabulously wealthy. With this confirmation, Ralston went all in. He formed a new mining corporation. The list of investors was a who's who of American capitalism. It included bankers, railroad barons, and even General George B. McClellan, a famous Civil War commander. Charles Tiffany, the founder of the legendary Tiffany & Co., was brought in to value the initial gems. He declared them to be worth a fortune, adding his prestigious name to the venture. The news of the diamond discovery began to leak to the public, creating a frenzy. This was it. America had its own diamond fields, rivaling those of South Africa. The company's stock value skyrocketed. Before it was even officially offered for sale, it seemed that everyone involved was about to become unimaginably wealthy. But across the country, one man heard the news and felt a deep sense of doubt. His name was Clarence King. He was a brilliant and highly respected government geologist. King was one of the foremost experts on the geology of the American West and the story of the diamond. Fields simply didn't make sense to him. He knew from his surveys that the geology of the region was not right for diamonds. Even more suspiciously, diamonds and rubies are almost never found together in the same location. To King, this sounded less like a geological discovery and more like a carefully crafted fraud. It was a hoax that could trigger a financial panic. He realized this was more than just a bad investment. It threatened to destabilize the entire economy of the West. He knew he had to act. King decided to launch his own secret expedition to find the field and expose the lie. The problem was, no one knew the exact location, and winter was fast approaching. Using geological clues from the reports, King and his team narrowed down the possible location. They embarked on a dangerous journey into the remote wilderness in the freezing cold. They found an anthill glittering with a single, uncut diamond. After weeks of searching in harsh conditions, they finally found it. A remote, flat-topped mountain. At first, the site looked promising, but then they found another and another. It was too easy, too perfect. King's trained eye soon saw the truth. This was not a natural deposit. It was a salted field. Someone had taken low-grade, uncut gems, likely from Europe, and scattered them here. A massive, incredibly ambitious, and brilliantly executed fraud. He found evidence of a cover-up. A hole where a diamond had been pushed into an anthill with a stick. He found gems placed in the cracks of rocks where they never would have formed naturally. It was all a lie. King and his team had all the evidence they needed. Now they had to race back to civilization. The news hit the papers, and the bubble burst instantly. They raced against time to expose the hoax before the company could sell its stock to the public. King arrived in San Francisco on November 26, 1872, and went straight to the company's investors. He presented his undeniable scientific evidence. The investors were horrified. Their dream was a sham. The Great Diamond Hoax was publicly exposed. The company collapsed. The powerful investors were publicly humiliated. And what of the two conmen who had orchestrated the entire scheme? John Slack, the cousin, was never seen again. He simply vanished with his share of the money. Philip Arnold, the mastermind, returned to his home in Kentucky with a fortune. He was eventually sued by the investors, but settled out of court for a fraction of what he had made. He lived out his days as a wealthy and powerful local banker. Years later, he was killed in a shootout with a rival banker, a violent end to a dishonest life. The Great Diamond Hoax of 1872 became a legendary cautionary tale of the Gilded Age. It was a story of greed so powerful that it blinded the sharpest financial minds in the nation. But it was also a story of triumph. The triumph of scientific reason and integrity over deception. Clarence King, the heroic geologist, had saved the nation from a devastating financial crash. He had used his knowledge and his courage to expose a lie that seemed too good to be true. Because, as he had suspected from the very beginning, it was. The story serves as a powerful reminder that skepticism is a valuable tool, and that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. It's a tale that captures the wild, speculative spirit of an era. An era when anything seemed possible, including finding a mountain full of diamonds. The Great Diamond Field was just a fantasy, but the story it created is a true American legend. A tale of a fraud so grand it became a work of art.